Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap. I hope all of you guys had a wonderful day. My day was all right. Um, it's the NFL draft happening right now. Got my Miles Garrett jersey on. Go Browns! That's my favorite football team. In case you didn't know, I've said it a few times. But we just drafted Mason Graham earlier. So hopefully he's a good defensive tackle for this defensive line. We got Miles Garrett already, but hopefully he's a good addition. We're going to see who else they decide to draft, and hopefully they don't make any mistakes because I can't take it much longer. No, I'm joking. But, how's it going, everyone? Hope everything is well. We got a lot of news to cover. Gonna kind of try and keep it fast because I do kind of want to watch the NFL draft. But, I'll get you the news as best as I can. Um, so, yeah, let's get started. Just two segments today, Trump administration segment and the other news segment as always. The Trump administration segment is the largest one today with four topics, I believe. Trump has begged Putin to stop bombing Ukraine. Trump has signed a memo targeting Act Blue. Trump's asked the Supreme Court to ban trans people from the military. And Trump starts selling 2028 merch. Let's get started. Trump has begged Putin to stop bombing Ukraine. Trump has urged Putin to stop after deadly attacks on Ukraine's capital, Kiev. Trump said in a post on Truth Social, I am not happy with Russian strikes on Kiev. Not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Please let a peace deal done. Please let's get a peace deal done. Russia had previously struck Kiev with an hours-long barrage of missiles and drones, killing 12 people and injuring 90. This is rare. You don't really see the Trump administration stick up to Putin or Trump stick up to Putin very often. On multiple occasions, have we floated the idea that Trump is a Putin puppet or a Russian puppet? Because that really does seem like the case. But, in this, Trump is defying kind of Putin's rule, if you will, and kind of speaking out and saying, "Hey, stop killing people and make a deal," which is honestly the most sane thing I've heard from the Trump administration so far. I'll admit that. Um, but Putin probably won't listen, and we'll see how this one plays out. But I do agree. People should stop dying in Ukraine. Trump is to sign a memo targeting Act Blue. Trump is slated to issue a memorandum targeting Act Blue, the Democratic Party's main fundraising platform. A copy of the draft directs, my apologies, Attorney General Pam Bondi to launch an investigation into online fundraising platforms with the goal of cracking down on illegal straw donors and foreign contributions to U.S. elections. The memorandum specifically cites Act Blue, which has been subject of GOP congressional investigations and criticism from Trump allies, including Elon Musk, who has donated millions to the Trump administration and other Republican elections. I think it's very hypocritical to allow Elon to buy people's votes, essentially, but, not let the other party have any funding for their elections. Sounds a little dictatorial, if you will. But, honestly, I personally think campaigns should be supported by the voters and not corporations. But alas, we aren't there yet as a country, and I'm sure a majority of political parties would never go for such a thing. Um, but I'm not a Democrat. I've made that clear on multiple occasions. I don't agree with the majority of the thing, or I do agree with the majority to some degree. But I don't agree with the way that they, go about their business, if you will. And I do think that we overall just need more, more socialistic policies in the United States. I'm a firm believer in the DSA. My plan is to get involved with the DSA at some point. So, I mean, that's my stance with that. But, I can never say if I'll run for a party or not. It's very likely that I'll just be independent, go that, um, I believe Teddy Roosevelt. And if I'm wrong, I might be very upset at myself, but I'm like 99.9% sure. You know what? We're going to fact check myself right here. And if I'm wrong, I will be very upset. Who ran as an independent and won? No, Millard Fillmore. Because he ran for 4 terms, right? And he died in his 4th term. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I was wrong. I was wrong. Wait, no. Yeah. No. Yeah. Did FDR run as an independent? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I don't know. Google is not, and I don't want to do a bunch of research on it. Um, one of the Roosevelts ran as an independent. But my point stands there. I always get the two mixed up, and I know like I'm a huge history nerd, but that is my worst thing is the Roosevelts. I always get the two of them messed up. Which is so bad. But honestly, on which makes it worse on my part is, or my justification for it, if you will, is I am terrible with names. One of my worst things is names. But let's move on. Trump asked this. I don't even know how we got to that topic anymore. Trump has asked the Supreme Court to ban trans people from the military. Trump has asked the Supreme Court on Thursday to allow his administration's policy banning transgender people from serving in the military. When Trump returned to office in January, he issued a new executive order declaring it to be U.S. government policy to establish high standard for troop readiness, lethal cohesion, honesty, humility, uniformity, and integrity, and said that the policy is inconsistent with the medical, surgical, and mental health concentrations on individuals with gender dysphoria. Anyone who has the courage to serve in the United States military, or any military for that matter, should be able to. Trans rights are human rights, and they never won't be. Anyone who disagrees with me on that, I will fight. And I am so serious about that. Sign me up. But I mean, at the end of the day, Trump is fucked up for doing this. Trans people should be able to serve. Trans rights are humans' rights, and trans people are people. And for the most part, MAGA can never really tell, so I don't know why they hate them so much. Not to mention the fact that trans people are less than 1% of the population, or it might be 1% now, around there. My numbers are off today. That's just me, I guess. I don't know. Sorry. Trump sells 2028 merch. The Trump organization has begun selling red hats and other merch with the slogan Trump 2028. The hats are listed at $50 with the description, "The future looks bright. Rewrite the rules with Trump's 2028 high crown hat." Fully embroidered with a snap closure on the back, this will become your new go-to hat. The shirts, also costing $38, also feature the phrase, "Rewrite the rules." A hat costing $50 is insane in this economy, for one. But, I know merch is pretty pricey, but a hat for $50. Woo! Lord. But, get ready for the new Trump hat in the wild. The red hats are coming, my friends, but it's not the British this time. It's, the people in our own country. You'd think they'd pick another color, by the way. Red is frequently, the team, or the bad guy team, if you will. I mean, at this point, why be red? Why be red when they're supposed to, like, every time they're the bad guys? You're kind of trying to say, oh, we're not the bad guys, but you're red like every other bad guy. I just hit my finger on my computer. But I feel like that makes sense. Like, why would you continuously be picking red as the main color for your thing when it is continuously the color of the bad guys if you don't want to be the bad guys? I feel like there's some sense has to be had there. Maybe that's just me, but moving on to the other news segment for this evening, a judge has blocked parts of voter registration's order. A federal judge in D.C. has paused the sections of Trump's executive order on voting elections. The order instructs the Independent Election Assistance Commission to change the national mail voter registration form to require the applicants show a document providing U.S. citizenship before they can register to vote. Judge Colleen Kohler Kelly wrote in her ruling, Our Constitution entrusts that Congress and the states, not the president, will have the authority to regulate federal elections. This is good. This order should be blocked. You already need to be a citizen to vote. The only thing this does do is make it harder for married women and married people in general who have taken their partner's last name, and people in general. It makes it harder for people to vote, which shouldn't be a problem in the United States because the Trump administration knows that a lot of these people don't vote for them. So it makes it harder for the people voting against them to vote, which is a huge problem. I mean, it's my right as a citizen to vote. I should be able to vote, and everyone should be able to vote as a citizen, and it should matter. We have laws for it for a reason. There is no half vote. There is no 3/4 of vote. That's not a thing anymore, and it shouldn't be a thing, and it never will be a thing, because if it is, there's going to be some issues. People need to be able to vote. That is their solemn right as an individual. There has been a 1-week discovery period for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. A federal judge has ruled on Wednesday, temporarily halting her order requiring the Trump administration to provide information on its efforts so far to retrieve Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Paula Zinnes has granted a stay of discovery process until April 30th at 5 p.m., with the argument of parties being Trump and Abrego Garcia's agreement. Zinnes did not explain her reasoning, nor did any of the parties. This is interesting. I think if both parties agreed, there must have been a deal done, but that's not always the case. Hopefully we can see Kilmar Abrego Garcia's return, but, for now it just looks like we're going to have to wait a week to see any more information. But with that being said, thank you everyone for watching the evening news recap tonight. We're going to reload the NFL draft page and see the picks that have been made because I am interested in that. You guys are going to hear that update. The Niners are on the clock. Panthers have selected Territoria McMillan. Saints selected Kevin Banks. And the pick is in for the Bears. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, drop a subscribe. We just hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. Round of applause, everyone. Appreciate it so much. You guys are so amazing for that. Let's get to 500 soon, hopefully, maybe. But yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. If you're on Substack, consider pledging your support. All the funds go to me. They help me pay for the things that I'll need to pay for in college. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you tomorrow, guys, with another news recap episode. Later.